I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome to the channel. It's your girl, DYANAROZAY. I'm here to bring y'all the latest on Love and Marriage Huntsville, child. We're about to get this review together. Yesterday, I was having all kinds of problems with my audio. So if you guys can hear the sound of my voice, let me know by putting your city, your state, your country, your island, your continent, wherever you are from into the chat. I can give y'all a shout out real quick and we can let more people come through. But I just want to make sure that y'all can hear me. So let me know, let me know, let me know. What is up, Lady D Keys? Anybody that you see with a wrench behind their name, they're here to make sure that you have a good time in the chat. So say hello to the moderators. Thank you very much. What's up, Gloria from St. Louis? I appreciate you for coming through. What's up, Leslie from Long Beach, California? Hey, Love Jazz. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Clone in the house. Not 2 days in a row, child. What do I owe the pleasure? Clone in the house is my sister. We got the same mama, same daddy, okay? What is up? Getting Jazzy with Jazz TV. How are you? I don't know if you are a YouTube channel or not, but welcome. I appreciate you for coming through and showing a little support. New subscriber, Queen T. Oh, speaking of new subscribers, give me a second, y'all. I want to make sure everybody can say hello. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. I am back. Keep saying hello into the chat. So you might want to refresh your page as well, because I wanted to make sure that people weren't, doing crazy stuff. Y'all know how people can be. So I had to make sure that the chat was kind of closed. But now it is open and my moderators are here and in full effect. We don't care if you have different opinions, that's fine. Just don't make it an attack against anyone that is in the chat or me. Y'all know how to have a conversation, child. If you don't like somebody, cool, say you don't like them. They don't pay your bills. They don't make sure you got some gas money, little money on your books, none of that. So don't get too hoity-toity over here. Let's see. Good afternoon, Sherry. What's up? What's up, Robin? You said, hey, channel. Oh, you do have a channel? Okay. Well, I hope everybody get a chance to check you out. What's up, Kentucky? Y'all, I have to tell you, the show wasn't bad. The show wasn't bad. It was okay. I know people feel a way about Melody not being on the show. I don't know why though, because it looks like the majority of people were pushing her off the show. Like her fans did not want her on the show. Some of them. That wasn't my sentiments. I actually said she should be on the show, but she needs to take a break, which is fine. But listen, the show was actually okay. Out of a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give it an 8, like a 7.5, 8. It was the first episode of the season. Y'all know the first episode usually goes slow. But what they did is they really set up the scenes to let people know exactly what it was going to be about, so that you didn't have any worries about, people name dropping or whatever the case may be. So it was a decent show. So I'm giving it a strong 7.5, 10. And it opened well. Come on through. What's up, Lady D from St. Louis? Nice to have you. Y'all know I spent a long time in St. Louis, child. I still miss the food there. I found a whole lot of good restaurants. That's like the Biggest thing that I missed. I did see Marquez, child. We're going to talk about Marquez. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to tell you something. I literally watched that scene at least 3 times because I said, well, maybe I'm missing something. And actually, I wasn't. I had to go back and watch the scene between him and Ken, which was a great setup scene. A lot of people dismissed that scene, but there was so much information given in that scene. And I'm telling you, the way things played out at the end was horrible. And I'll get to it. I'm not going to give y'all I'm not going to say too much. I'll get to it because I know that there's a lot of people that's in Marquez's quarter, but oh my God. Oh my God, I'll get to it. Come on in. Welcome everybody. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button, share the video, all the things. We are here to talk about season 10, episode 1 of Love and Marriage Huntsville. I think that they did a good change up. I know Marcus Burns, who is the showrunner, he's the one who is, over the cast and make sure all those scenes are cohesive. He was tooting his horn yesterday, baby. He was tooting his horn. He felt good. I guess they had a premiere over there at Marceau's bar, and a lot of the cast was there. They had posted all kinds of stuff on their IG stories. Anyway, he felt good about it. I think he did a good job. I would say in regards to filming and how scenes were edited, it was right up there with Bravo. And I know that he's worked over there at Bravo. I don't know if they gave him a bigger budget or what, but absolutely, I thought it was good. Let's see. Hot mess. In real life. Oh, what are you saying? It was good, but something is definitely missing. Okay. So anyway, we're going to talk about it. I can't wait to hear what y'all got to say. Take the take the poll at the top of the page. Did Marquez just walk into Trisha's house? We'll get to it. I told y'all I come from a family, it is majority women. There's a lot of stuff that we were told to protect and take care of ourselves, child. Woo, that whole scene would have got a whole stump into Marquez. Okay. Martell and coleslaw, the nerve. Listen, the best thing about Martell and coleslaw, even though for whatever reason, it is a shock to the audience every single time, Melody already knows. Y'all send her shit and be pissing her off and messing up her healing journey. She already knows about that man and that woman. It was the whole reason. Nobody has to send her shit. I howled. I howled when I was reading some of the stuff. She's known about this longer than all of the fans, child. If y'all don't leave that woman alone, damn. Let's see. Yeah, it was funny to me. Anyway, she done got y'all together, or whoever sent it to him, because it wasn't me. I have never sent Melody, her mama, anybody in her team, entourage, manager, anything. I don't understand how that happens. I've actually said, isn't that like painful? But people said she needed to know. Anywho, let's get it started. Y'all saw my picture I had put up of Marceau. Look at Marceau's straight. This is his real facial expression when he was dealing with his mother-in-law. See how he got his hands over his mouth? Look how his face looks. That's the face you make when you're thinking about, should I just give up every motherfucking thing? Should I leave today? That's what Marceau was looking like when he got creamed by Wanda, okay? Y'all know Marceau already came out back in December and he shared that him and Tisha was in counseling, said that, they actually discussed walking away from each other, calling it quits. So after sharing all of that, we know they were filming. Wanda actually makes her debut, child, going over to the Scott's house. I don't guess she's over there a lot. I think she's even said that. Both her and Tisha and Marceau said that she doesn't come there quite often because she does get into fights with Marceau all the time. But when Wanda shows up, let's start from the beginning. When she is driving up, you hear the shark attack music. Production plays shark attack music, okay? Like dun 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 dun, dun, like it goes faster. Anyway, they show this lady getting out her car, walking up to Tisha's door, and they showed the house. They showed like the full frame of the house. I don't know if we've ever gotten that before. I think we usually get like a door or a pinch of the house. They showed the full frame of the house, okay? And when Wanda walks inside, child, everything freezes. Everything freezes. Marceau is sitting behind the counter, okay? Now, Tisha and Marceau, they have a very modest house on the outside. Some may think it's modest on the inside, but you can tell they decorated it. They got this chef kitchen going on, black and gold, all that stuff. Marceau's sitting in the house with his hat on like he just got there. I don't know if they live together still or if they're apart, but I do know that he had his hat on his head. His daughter is sitting right underneath him. She might be sitting on his lap. His son is behind him. When Wanda walks to the door, everything in the house stops. Those kids they all looked at Wanda like, oh God, we was having fun, okay? They knew that lady was about to bring some thunder, okay? They knew that she was there to start some shit. And they just all paused and stared at her, including Marceau. Even Tisha gave a look like, who the hell is this, okay? I actually asked y'all on my IG who gave the best facial expression, because I'll be damned. And Wanda even caught it. Wanda makes this face. I don't know if y'all can tell. Wanda makes this face where her eyes cut. She's doing this side eye look at at Marceau. Like, it's your ass. I'm here for that. And you could just tell, okay? Let's see. They have showed the house before because it is across from the gas station. Okay. That was funny. They're sick of Wanda and her drama. Child. They have a roof over their head now. We're about to see a whole lot of people's homes get snatched in the next couple of months. We should be real careful, like tiptoe around that conversation, child, because the way that these banks and these loans are running. Anyway, Wanda makes this face that looks like she's ready for Marceau. Her daughter, her oldest granddaughter, comes over, gives her a hug. She hugs Tisha, and it felt like it was time to go to work, okay? Marceau makes a comment earlier that him and Tisha are about to celebrate their 20th anniversary next year. So 2 decades of marriage. And he also said that him and Tisha have the longest first marriage out of anyone in the Scott family. So he put it out there. People tried to break them up, but they didn't. Not until Wanda showed up, because when I saw Marceau make this face, I said he might dip on Tisha. He might dip on Tisha today. Okay. Them babies look just like Marceau, don't they though? Child. Oh my God. Got his whole face. So listen, let's get into it. So Wanda sits down right beside Marceau. Marceau looks over at Wanda. He said, no, you don't. Gets up, sits across from her and said, I need to face my enemies. Okay. And then in confessional, this made me howl. In confessional, Marceau said, well, it looks like the good Lord wanted me to have another challenge, okay? He wanted me to have another battle. So it looks like my mother-in-law is here. Oh, that was hilarious. Then they give this full montage of Wanda and Marceau going back and forth at each other. Wanda's really coming after Marceau like Mistress Daddy from The Color Purple. Child, you think you smart, don't you? Okay. You ain't smart, Marceau. I'm on your ass, Marceau. Everything you could possibly think of. Whatever you can think of, Wanda was throwing at Marceau. You overheard her say something like, as long as I'm alive, you ain't never gonna hurt her. Okay, they pulled all of it. And she basically stood 10 toes down and said, I'm here. okay? Because what the hell was going on? Why you let Martell put that video out of that woman? Is it true? And she also told Marcel that she think that he jumping and running like Martell. You try to basically avoid giving direct answers. You like to avoid telling the truth, okay? Anyway, after all of that, Marcel said, I did answer the question. She said, no, you didn't. What did you say? What did you hear me say? I didn't hear you say nothing. Then that's my answer. Period. Marcel did not give Wanda anything that she wanted. And Wanda told him that he is an embarrassment, that he is hurting his family, that he is hurting his wife. She said, my entire family saw that shit. Tisha's entire family saw that shit. And you need to stand up and be accountable. Even if you didn't do it, then you need to say you didn't do it. She did everything that any mama would have done when it comes to, wanting answers for your child. Now, I will say this. Tisha and Marcel said that they're in therapy, right? So really, he shouldn't be answering to his mother-in-law because that's not going to help him. But like I said, he just sat there. He took it. I can tell you that Wanda gave way more than what they edited for the show, which, was probably good. But she beat the hell out of Marcel in this scene. Whacked him, attacked him all about the head and shoulders, and you could tell. And by the time it was all said and done, she said, I don't give a shit what you say, what you think. I will always be here when it comes to Tisha. I'm always going to be in your business and on your neck. Tisha, on the other hand, was like, Ma, don't do that. She did say that maybe once or twice. But then she went into confessional and she said something that I'm sure nobody bought. She said, me and Marcel have a language of our own. We have a way of speaking to each other. And then she went on to say that Marcel is her protector. He's always been her protector, which is good. If she's in therapy, if you speak it, you can be it, right? But since this show has been on the air, Tisha has been begging Marcel to be her protector. And she's not the only one. Hell, Maurice has asked, Kimmy has asked, Martell has laughed at his ass about it. Who else? Everybody who's been on the show has had something to say, including Tiffany and Louis Whitlow, child, all of them, every single body. So Tisha getting in her confessional and saying that, she had to know that somebody was going to attack her for it at the end of the day. But like I said, maybe that's a part of their therapy. Who knows? But yeah, that first scene was good. I actually like the fact that you could tell that everybody knew that Wanda was coming with the thunder and those kids were there and she was about to let loose, and she did. We didn't see everything, but she got out what she needed to get out. Bottom line is Marcel still didn't answer the question. Okay? Tell your mama to stay out your marriage. Child. Wanda actually was probably one of the better parts of the show. I'm not going to lie, considering all the other stuff that went down. Let's move on to the next. The next scene is Kimmy and Maurice, okay? Kimmy, Maurice, and little Maurice Jr. Listen, Maurice Jr. has the best features of his mama. He has the best eyes. I think his cheekbones are his mama. What's her name? Kiowa? And everything else might come from Maurice, but he has he has such soulful eyes when he's on screen. Okay, he has such soulful eyes. But Maurice decides to tell this drinking and driving story, the DUI story, through Monster. Basically, like he's teaching Monster a lesson about gossiping. And the whole time he's doing it, Monster's giving him a look like, can I go now? Like, what the fuck is this about? I could care less. And I'm not even making it up. You could just tell that he was like, I told you I was going to give you 3 minutes, so you need to wrap it up. But Maurice gives this long-ass, drawn-out Martin Luther King speech, for sure, about So what have you been teased? Has the kids been saying anything about the DUI? What do you know about it? Monster's what, 18 years old, about to go off to college? He knows everything about it, sir. I mean, oh my God, he wakes up in the morning with that damn phone in his hand. He goes to sleep with it in his hand. So he sure enough received the same tea that we all got. But he is sitting here talking to him like a kid, which is actually funny because we all do this. We all talk to the youngins like they younger than they are, and they're not. Except for me, I don't know. Maybe my household was the only one who said, "I know you know what the fuck I'm talking about." Okay, but yes, he's a handsome kid for sure. Anyway, long story short, he gives him this speech about what the kids say, and Monster said, "Yeah, they might have teased a little bit or said some shit." He went, "Well, were they able to eat their words? Okay, when they found out that the DUI was dismissed and blah blah blah." And he said, "No, let this be a lesson to you, son. Let this be a lesson. This is how it usually works. People spread stories and rumors and innuendo, and it's loud. But when the truth comes out, they don't know how to say X, Y, and Z." And he nodded his head and said, "Okay, am I done?" Okay, I'm out. I don't even know what this is about. It was actually hilarious. What? The kids are cute. Yeah, the kids really are cute. I like to see the kids grow up. What was the lesson? The lesson was that clearly Maurice owed Monster, I don't know, $50, $100. He needed to pay him to be in that scene because clearly he couldn't have that same dumbass conversation with Kimmy. So he played it off and made it seem like he was teaching him about spreading rumors. Get to know all the information before you spread the story is what Maurice wanted to impress upon the folks. Nobody bought it, including, I'm talking for Monster, including Monster, okay? Anyway, exactly. He didn't say that he wasn't drinking and driving. It just happens that, there was some sort of technicality that he was able to get himself off of. Anyway, they talked to him a little bit about what they expect from him when he goes to college or things that he should look out for when it comes to friendships and shit like that. And he nodded his head and walked off like a good son. In confessional, Kimmy talked a little bit about how she's happy that the trial went the way it did. And again, it was not anything about the DUI. He didn't say, "I did it, I didn't do it." He didn't say nothing. Maurice never asked his son how he felt about the story instead of worrying about what others thought. Well, again, Lucky, it was a lesson. He was trying to give it to the audience through his son. We caught on. We're smarter than that, though, aren't we? At least I am. Anyway, from there, they talk a little bit about business. Kimmy lets everybody know that she's fully into the real estate game. She was showing off what did she say? 30,000 foot commercial property or some shit. And Maurice toots his horn a little bit and says something like, "See why I pushed you so hard? I knew you could do it. You didn't have to be a nurse kind of thing anymore." Whatever. Kimmy said, "As much as I love what's going on with, Marceau and Scott Manor, what's happening with Jordan Lane," which I guess is her restaurant. She has a restaurant she's opening. So she finally says the name on TV. She didn't say it last year. But she said, "What's going on with Jordan Lane? Where is Marceau with it? He does get work, but the mother effer is slow." That's what we know. That's pretty much it. Let's see. Did I miss anything else? Oh, they did discuss. Yeah, I did miss something. My bad. Hold on. The most important part. Damn. Anyway, Kimmy goes from talking about that shit to talking about the Fletchers. She said that Chris threw Maurice and Marceau under the bus. Okay? So she said, "Listen, I need to talk to you for a second." The streets were talking, and apparently the streets are saying that you and Marceau used to make people sign NDAs, side chicks sign NDAs, and apparently it was Chris who put it out there that it was the two of you who were doing it. So she asked point blank, did you make women sign or side chicks sign NDAs? And he goes, first he pauses and he looks down. That could have been creative license from production. But I didn't like that. Okay. He never answered the question. He didn't. So this is what she said. She goes, "Did you have them sign an NDA?" And he went, "I've never had anyone sign it. I've never had anyone sign an NDA." She went, "That's the wrong answer." "What do you mean? Are you really acting like you don't know that's the wrong answer? What is wrong with you?" "I've never had anyone sign an NDA." "You've never had a side chick," is the right answer. And then they both have a hearty chuckle. It was really lame. It was really lame. Okay. No one can throw you under the bus unless it's true. That is a good point, but we're going to get to that, Erica. Thank you for pointing that out, but we are about to get to it. But outside of that, that's the NDA part of the title. Kimmy already had a problem with Nell Fletcher. I think 2 seasons ago, I asked y'all then, did y'all see the tension between Kimmy and Nell Fletcher when Kimmy calls Nell Fletcher to her office to tell her, "I don't want you at any meeting that has to do with the 47 acres," or what were they talking about? The comeback group. "I don't want you at any meetings. You weren't there. You have nothing to do with it. We don't need you there to make any decisions." And Nell Fletcher was like, "Well, I was invited, and Stormy was there, so why wasn't I there?" Nell took it in stride though, but I'm kind of curious if there's history there, because Kimmy does not F with Nell Fletcher. Period. Okay. His body language told the real answer. Since this show has been on, she never liked Nell. Okay. I didn't know, child. I was looking. He did look like he was in the hot seat clone. I agree. Just like his brother, Maurice never gives a straight answer. To me, that's guilt. And like Keisha and Kimmy, they let him get away with it. Okay. Well, they haven't been caught red-handed. Not yet, anyway. We're going to put that out there only because whatever they got going on, whether it's an NDA or not, okay, none of those women have come forward except for, if you want to count whatever Martell and Ariane did. I'm not counting that one personally. I think that lady was trying to get her OnlyFans numbers up personally. Okay, but we shall see. But anyway, Kimmy asked a question. He didn't answer it, still didn't answer it. She laughs it off, and they're on to another day, okay? Now we got Nell and Chris Fletcher. We are at their house. Nell Fletcher has come home from a hard day's work, child. She got this red wig that's pulled up in a ponytail, and then the ends of the ponytail is supposed to make bangs. It was one of the most ridiculous wigs I've ever seen ever. Nell Fletcher is actually an attractive woman. It is really crazy that she let them wigs bring her down to like a 5 when she's a 10. Like, get your shit together. Oh my goodness. Anyway, did not like the wig, but Chris and Nell are having, I guess they're just walking the door. They're trying to figure things out. They mentioned that they got 2 new grandbabies. I guess they were born around the same time. Little Chris Jr. has a baby, and Lance has a baby. This would be number 3 for Lance, number 1 for Chris. Okay. Now, y'all remember the baby stuff that happened last year, child? What did I say? Nell's hair. Oh, the hair this entire show was bad. All of it. Anyway, even in confessional it was bad. Anyway, they talked about the kids, and then they have a little conversation about how these new additions to the family might be taken away from their time. Like, they go to dinner and stuff like that to have one-on-ones and catch up with each other. And then it also sounds like one of the kids was living in the house like 2 weeks ago, had just moved out. So they're like, listen, we can tell that the kids still need some help. Lance looks like he is completely stressed. He drops the baby off at the daycare. He's the last to pick the baby up. So she's like concerned about him, but we shall see. Okay. Following that, he tells, like I said, he asked her if she had anything she wanted to talk about because they weren't getting their time in. He thought maybe they might have some little marital concerns. She said, no, I didn't have marital concerns, but your mentioning it gives me, pause. It makes me have a concern. All we're doing is being grandparents. We had new babies show up in the family, so we don't go to dinner. How is that a whole marital problem? Now, Neil was on his ass for that, and I saw it, and I actually liked it because I was like, yeah, you got to catch it when it comes out their mouth, child. Neil always going to take care of them grown-ass kids. Well, she got babies now. She got the grandbabies, too. Let's see. I bet Neil is the only one stressed because Chris is just enjoying life. Facts. Chris dances his troubles away. But anyway, after she says that, you can tell that he catches himself a little bit like, ooh, maybe I said the wrong thing. I'm like, maybe you did. Maybe you did. They'll probably talk about that more later. But that's when Chris drops the whammy that Martell Holt is on his way over, okay? Now, apparently Martell and Chris Fletcher talk to each other every single day, okay? Like cackling hens. Who knew? Martell literally says this in his confessional. Oh, that's my brother. I talk to him every single day. Don't miss a day. But he's on his way over to the crib, Chris and Nell Fletcher's crib. Nell says, oh shit, like I was not expecting that. And if y'all recall her her IG live, she says she wasn't fooling with Martell anymore. She don't think there was room for them to be friends again. She wasn't accepting his apology. She was tired of his shit. She made all of those, declarations. It all went out the door as soon as Martell walked inside the house. Hey, Martell! Like hugging and the whole five. I was like, girl, you didn't even try to put on a good friend. You literally did not give a care. Okay? So they come in, and of course, they got to hash out this damn picture. Martell did say she talked to him every day. Did y'all see that? They have to hash out this damn picture with Nell Fletcher and Ariane, okay? That happened at the Polo Classic that's here in Atlanta, okay? So Martell comes in and Nell Fletcher basically says, I really didn't appreciate that shit. You had everybody talking about me. I'm on, live with my real hair out, looking crazy, trying to calm the people down. And, Fletcher is the one who alerted her to it. Like, oh, do you see what's going on the internet? So I guess she got herself all hot and bothered. She wanted Martell to know that she didn't appreciate it. And she said, I feel like you set me up. To which Martell starts lying out of his teeth. Like you can hear the lie. I didn't set you up. Why would you think I set you up? I wouldn't want nobody to do that to me. I was like, bitch, Martell, what are you doing? He literally coughed and choked that entire scene out. I could not believe it. Chris and Nell Fletcher actually both looked down at the same time like, this motherfucker is a lie. Like you can tell he's lying. Okay. Lord, coughing up a lie, coughing it up for real. So after that, Nell Fletcher says, are you really going to sit in my house and look me in my face and tell me that you didn't set that up? Martell says, I wouldn't do that. And she goes, okay, if you said you didn't do it, I have no choice. I guess I'll try to believe you. It is what it is. In confessional, she said, I'm still not sure that he didn't set me up, but hell, it's over. I gotta, move the hell on about it. Either way, like I said, you could tell that Martell was lying in the entire scene. He's going to continue to lie. It didn't stop there. Okay. Then they start talking about Tisha's video or what Tisha had to say on Carlos King's channel, basically calling Martell a queen and saying that he was gay in college and some other things. Okay. So he said, I saw the video, how do you feel about that? Where do you guys stand? Martell said, I'm not going to let anybody else lie on me. That's the last lie. And that's why I tried to have y'all take that poll. Okay. Look at that poll. Please take it because I need to ask y'all a question. He definitely set her up for that photo. And I do believe that it has since come out by the horse's mouth herself. I think Ariane actually said that it was a setup. I really do. But either way, doesn't matter. They start talking about this this video where Tisha said, listen, I don't know what's going on with Martell and why he's, telling everybody's college business. But if he wants to talk about what people used to do in college, child, there's a guy named Frank who says that he's very familiar with all of Martell's intimate parts. Okay. They didn't bring up the word, but they talked about the particular video clip, and then they actually put that footage in the show. So we just heard her say something about Martell, but you knew where it was coming from. What sparked that entire Martell having an interview with Marceau's alleged mistress was Tisha. And I won't even say it was Tisha doing that, because Tisha was actually responding to Martell, but Martell acts like he's a victim for everything. Anyway, they asked him about it. Martell said he's not going to let anybody lie on me anymore. Nobody gets to lie on me anymore. I'm about to take care of that shit. Okay? Now, let me see what y'all had to say, because I asked y'all to vote, child. So let me see what y'all had to say. All right. So here's the votes. I said, what lie did the Scots tell on Martell? What lie did the Scots, being Marceau, Maurice, I guess Tisha too, shit. What was the lie? That he's a cheater. 8% of y'all said he's a cheater. That he's a liar. 11% of y'all said that. That he's a scammer. 8% of y'all said that. And 73% of y'all said all of the above is true. Okay. All of the above is true. I'm not sure what the lie is, in other words, because all of the above is true. Okay. Now let me. Oh, sorry about that, child. All right. So anyway, after all of that shit goes down, Martell asked the Fletchers about whether or not Lance had a baby on Destiny, and that's how the scene ends. Did I talk about Destiny? Was Destiny before or after? I skipped Destiny. I'm sorry, y'all. Oops. Let me hit her real quick, because I thought Destiny was before, and she was. Okay. So Destiny and Martell meet up. I would say that this was the worst scene of the entire episode. I'm still giving the episode a 7.5, but this was the worst scene of the episode. And the reason why is because these two weren't talking to each other like they were friends that talk like this to each other. They were talking to each other like they were trying to talk to the audience or talk to someone else that they wanted to get the message. I didn't like it. It wasn't comfortable. It didn't flow right for me. Personally, I didn't like that scene. But anyway, Destiny comes in. She says that she's a business owner, a mommy. She's a caretaker to her daddy. She's trying to figure out how to expand her business. She said also that she's back in real estate again. There's the business pieces if you're interested. Her and Martell had this meetup. The meetup is supposed to be about the two of them trying to figure out how to do something in real estate together. Destiny wants to have the listings for his homes. Anyway, like I said, the shit just felt phony, fake, not real at all. But doesn't stop there. Destiny ends up saying, so what you been up to? Fine to say. Martell says, yeah, me and Ariane, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to get her together, paying for her to finish off her nursing degree. Oh, so you guys are serious, huh? Yeah. I might put a ring on it. That conversation was so fake and phony. There's no way you could not have watched that and thought, y'all, everything about it is a lie. Everything. Everything about it is a lie. They were talking to each other like they were auditioning. They weren't talking to each other the way friends talk to each other. Y'all keep wanting us to know that y'all had a 20-year friendship and all this other shit. There's an ease that people have when they've known each other for 20 years. He talked to Nell Fletcher and Chris, who he's known less years than you, with more ease. The conversation between Destiny and Martell, the energy just was off. Anyway, Martell's making it out like if Ariane does what she needs to do and get her nursing degree, he might just put a ring on it. It was the dumbest shit I ever heard. Okay. Then, of course, they got to give us pictures of Martell and Ariane together. This is when Martell really start reading a script. Yeah, I haven't always done right by her over the years, because she and I was, getting to know each other when I was in another relationship, you know. But I wasn't always too nice to her because, of course, I called her the peasant thing. But she, I shouldn't have done that because she's a good girl. She's a good parent. And it feels really good to have her on my side. Okay. And if that came off cringy, what I just did, if that shit felt cringy to y'all, that's exactly how it felt when I watched it. The shit felt cringy. Okay. It didn't feel sincere. It didn't feel honest. It felt fake, phony, bullshitty. Okay. Absolutely nothing about it was right. Anyway, they smile and kiki over that for about 2 seconds. And then Destiny says, listen, what's going on with you and Tisha and Marceau? What happened between y'all, those videos that went out there, that was some bullshit. I really don't think you should have done that, Martell. Now, actually, this is good advice that Destiny was given, but it's not advice that Martell's going to take. He looked her dead in the eye and said, okay, I will not be doing it. Okay. But she said, listen, you know how that shit felt when you was getting dragged on social media and having people come for you and your relationships. So why would you do it to someone else? How does that make it right? That's when Martell says, I'm not going to let them lie on me anymore. Okay. Now we know the whole tape thing, but my question to y'all is this. Now that we've gone through all of these seasons, what we know for sure is that Martell had a pact with the Scotts, correct? Put a 1 in the chat if that's right. Did he have a pact, P-A-C-T, with the Scotts not to talk about Ariane or any type of cheating, correct? Yes. Yes. Okay, cool. Y'all remember the pact. They actually admitted on the reunion. I had to go look it up because a pact is supposed to be an agreement that benefits all parties. So if there was an agreement made on Martell, there was also an agreement made for the Scott brothers. The agreement is for everybody. Otherwise, it's just one person making a commitment or a promise. They use the word pact. We had a pact. That's how I heard it. And no one has since corrected it. So anyway, after saying that he's not going to let anybody lie on him, I want to see if they bring up the fact again, because Marceau already said it. We wasn't talking about you. You were talking about it. They asked us to get involved afterwards. Not to mention the fact the first time the scene happens with Marceau, Maurice, and Martell, when Martell says, Melody found my second phone, he started the conversation. He said, Melody found my second phone. And Marceau goes, excuse me? Wait a minute. Did I hear you right? Why would you have a second phone? Didn't you already go through all this shit? Why would you do it? Why would you keep it? Martell gives some excuse. They started laughing. And then that's when Martell uses that as an excuse, because that's what it is at that point. He uses it as an excuse to bring up the Scott's business because he broke the pact. He broke it. He broke it. That's why I was asking. They've been having a pact. Yes, I get it. So they have a pact. If the pact is that you don't screw with each other or you don't tell this person's business, fine. But Martell is still talking about a broken promise or a lie that he actually initiated. He broke it first. He broke it first. Martell be trying to break up marriages. I'm just pointing that out. If y'all go back and watch it, if y'all don't remember it, Martell broke that pact first. Don't care what anybody says. Martell went to the Scott brothers telling them his story when they laughed at him for having gotten caught for a second time, which was still a lie because they were just bringing an old story to the show. After that, Martell chases Marceau around the countertop, threatening to whoop his ass, basically, because he said, I don't appreciate you lying on me. If somebody doesn't check Martell and say that he broke the pact, period. Okay, I was actually looking to see if anybody was going to say it. No one said it yet, but I'm gonna need somebody to be real smart and bring it up on reunion or something, because this shit, it didn't play out the right way. Anyway, after he tells Destiny, I'm not gonna let anybody lie on me anymore, like he's the victim when he is not, Destiny says vengeance is the Lord and you need to let this shit die. Okay, I don't know what it is that you're doing, but nothing good is gonna come from this. And you know what this is. Of course he knows what it is, because he was telling Ari, or whatever the fuck, all the business that she was sharing with the YouTuber who was putting it out there. Again, Martell, he is at the top of this whole entire thing. I am so unclear what's happening here, but somebody better figure this out quick. Martell's miserable, attempting to destroy the Scotts' almost 20-year marriage. And honestly, Martell's exposure to them is probably 10 plus years old. I don't think he has anything on them new. I don't know what he has. What I do know is that everybody, and I do mean everybody on the cast, have said Melody them were in the divorce court. They pulled their filing out of divorce court to do the show. But prior to them agreeing to do the show, they had not talked to each other in 2 years. Was it 2 years or 2.5 years? So they had all went their separate ways, not talking to each other. None of them. So meeting, having a pact, and then pretending like he wasn't the one who broke it is diabolical. He broke the freaking pact. Anyway, long story short, they go from that. Destiny tells Martell about the baby, about Lance having a baby on her, and that's how the scene ends. I jumped around on that, and I should not have. Okay, so sorry about that for whoever is listening, but I did want to get that pact out there. I need everybody who is listening to my voice. Y'all should be demanding to know if Martell broke the pact. If there was a pact, that means all parties had something to benefit from. There should have been an agreement that benefited all of them. Okay. Anyway, after we go from there, and Martell point blank tells Destiny, no, I will not keep my foot off of anybody's neck. If anybody comes for me, I'm coming for them. That's how the scene ends. So Martell is still the villain. Okay. Now we are with Ken and Marquez. Marquez, I tried. I tried. So Marquez is fresh off the reunion, where we know things went horrible, right? On reunion stage, that entire season, Marquez and Kenneth were at war. But if you don't remember, Ken tried to make peace after the reunion, where they were going to have a little bit of a fisticuffs. Ken kept looking at his hands when he was on the reunion stage, like he was going to turn into the Incredible Hulk or something. And at some point, I think Carlos had to stand in front of Marquez and say, sit down, do not disrespect me, or some shit like that. Then he went in, but long story short, you could tell that they hated each other. They ended up saying some real nasty shit about each other online, and I do mean nasty, over the children too. So the two of them went at it, and then Ken calls Marquez. This is real talk. Ken calls Marquez. Marquez shows the call log. The call went for damn near 5 hours. It was a 4-hour and some change conversation. And Marquez had posted like a love letter almost on his IG saying, oh my God, this is all I asked for. I just wanted, for you and I to have a man-to-man conversation. I'm feeling real good about this. He came to me. He asked for my permission. Whatever the shit is that Marquez needed, Ken gave it to him. Ken gave it to him. Okay? Now, for all of us on the other side watching and looking in, I was like, oof. I mean, people were making jokes about it. It wasn't a comfortable thing to see, but it happened. Now this is fresh off of that text, okay? Fresh off of that phone call and all of that. Ken and Marquez meet up. And that's what I'm assuming. They're on the balcony level of a gym, which I thought was the wrong thing to do because Marquez is a little emotional. You don't want to be on the balcony. But Marquez and Ken are meeting to talk about being better to each other so that they can be better for the kids. Ken says, I think all the right things. He said, listen, I'm not trying to take your place. I think that you're supposed to be in these kids' lives. Whatever I can do to make things better, I want to do. Okay. He's trying to show respect in this scene. Marquez, on the other hand, I don't know the vibe I was getting from Marquez. At first, I thought Marquez was smirking, like, this is exactly where I wanted this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it felt like. But then he says, so how do you want to co-parent our children? How do you want to co-parent our children? Is that something that a father would say who already told a man that he didn't want him to have that place in his life or in his children's life? Marquez be snapping. He thinks that he's the only one who knows Trisha. Ken is a pleaser, in my opinion, depending on who he's around. He acts like he will do something. Well, listen, these two were actually hanging out with each other. They were hanging out with each other. They had talked to each other for a long time. They really were supposed to have, broken bread and buried the hatchet. In fact, Ken says to him in the scene, I think that you and I can be good. It's Trisha that's going to require more time. You got to be patient with her. Hi, Veronica. Nice to have you, boo. So did y'all not see the smirk that Marquez makes? Or like a face like, so they were by themselves? It sounds like they were hanging out. They were hanging out during Thanksgiving. Like they were at each other's, he was at the house for dinner. He said he was moving to Huntsville. Anyway, after all this, he says, how would you like for us to co-parent our children? Which I thought was crazy. What's up, everybody? Come on in, hit the like button, please, and thank you. Okay. That's what he did. How would you like for us to co-parent our children? And then he says, listen, I would love to do a play date with the kids. I thought his son is 18. His daughter is what, 9? He is so out of the loop. It's crazy. There's no play dates here. Those kids actually have real appointments with stuff. Then he says, well, I would love for you and I to get to a point where we can all go on vacation. This is all stuff that Marquez is asking for. How do we co-parent our kids? I would like to set up a play date for all of us. And I would like for all of us to go on vacation. I don't know what y'all were thinking when you heard it, but that shit didn't feel right. None of it. I thought it was creepy. So we're talking about a TV show, everybody. I did not watch I'm watching a TV show, just a FYI. I don't actually watch TV to learn how to be a better sister, wife, or any of that stuff. I watch it so I can talk about other people. Right. They have organized activities. He asked for a play date. I kid you not. He said, we need to set up a play date. That just sounds crazy to me. It sounds crazy to me that he wanted to go on vacation with them as well. He asked. Ken says, slow your roll a little bit. You and I might be cool, but you got some work to do with Trisha. She doesn't trust you. She doesn't believe that your intentions are sincere. She does not think you're going to handle me well. She thinks that you're playing me. And that's what it looked like in the scene. No joke. She thinks that you're playing me. This is all the stuff that Ken says directly to Marquez. He doesn't even try to hide it. Marquez said, well, this is some bullshit. What you're saying is that Trisha, with all these years, that she don't know me. This is him, like he always does. Basically, he has that takeover spirit. And when he says to him, Trisha needs more time with you, he's basically saying, no, I know Trisha. Are you saying that Trisha doesn't know me? I'm happy you're telling me this, because are you telling me Trisha doesn't know me? He gets upset about anything. He is so out of touch with reality. A play date and vacation. I kid you not. I kid you not. Y'all can go back and listen to it. I listened to that shit 3 times. I was like, wait a minute. What is happening? That's how out of it he seemed to me. But anyway, after Ken is really giving him very basic, she don't trust you. You're going to have to move slow with her. She don't think that you're going to do right by me. She thinks that you don't have good intentions with what we got going on right now. He says, when is all this going to end? How much longer do I have to wait for her to get it together, Ken? This is what Marquez says to Ken. And I'm like, this is bad all the way around. None of it was good. None of it. But anyway, that's how that scene ends, okay? Ken tells him to be patient. Well, we'll see. All right, now we are at the last part of the episode. This is Ken. We're at Trisha's house. Let's just go to Trisha's house. Ken and Trisha do talk to each other a little bit in the car. Ken brings up that he wants to get married again. He says that he met with Marquez and that they are going to roll full speed ahead because he does not want Marquez to think he's taking over his seat. He wants him to know, you're the father, blah, 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 right? Anyway, now we are at Trisha's house. Trisha's home. She's making snacks. She has a friend who stops by. Her name is Sharon. She says, Sharon's been my friend for the last 4 years. I met her at the gym. We used to work out together, okay? You can tell that Sharon knows a lot about Trisha. At least Trisha's confided in Sharon about a lot of things, including Marquez. And Trisha says, I like Sharon because she's a straight shooter. She tells you exactly what she's thinking. She doesn't mince words. Sometimes you need a person like that in your life. Okay, so we know right at the beginning that Sharon is very sassy. Okay, she's very sassy. She stands her ground. They're in the house. They are talking and they're talking about Marquez. They're talking about Marquez, his mama, his grandparents. Trisha's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not comfortable with the relationship between Ken and Marquez. Everything was right. Everything was right with the world before those two started talking to each other. And now I don't know what to expect. Ken told me that Marquez lives here now. He hasn't had the kids over at his house. I haven't seen it. And I actually have, I think her oldest son, I think his name is Xavier. I have Xavier's location. So if he was to go to his house, I would know it. So she's like, I don't know what's going on, but it feels like a setup. Like she's telling us that she feels like there's a lot more going on and that Ken might be buying into it. She don't know if it's for the betterment of the kids or if there's something else that's going on. Sharon's like, well, what do you think is happening? Well, whatever you do, Sharon says, I know you want to keep his parents cool and shit, but you really got to keep your kids cool. Okay, more than anybody else, keep your kids cool. Fine. Now the door creaks open. And Sharon and, damn, I done forgot her name already. Trisha, they stopped talking. They like bluntly stopped talking. You could tell that the lips was moving, voices was going. And you can also tell that because they stopped talking, that automatically made Marquez insecure. When he walks in, he feels like the energy shift. And it did, it shifted. But he's thinking, y'all are talking about me instead of, I walked in on something. I shouldn't be here anyway. I didn't even knock. So let me walk out. Like grown folks who walk in on somebody, even if they're talking about you, if you walked in on it and it's none of your business, leave. You dropped off your daughter, which, okay, great. But she didn't have to be walked inside because she's grown. She walks in the house all the time. She knows how to do it. But the way he walks in, he has to take over spirit. And he goes, did I walk into something? And then Sharon's like, oh, hey, Marquez, let me introduce myself. Because that's just her personality. That's what she does. And she probably is abrasive as hell to a lot of people. But you got to know when to hold them and when to effing fold them, okay? So at first it starts off and you can tell that at least she thought it was a joke because she's laughing kind of like, yeah, didn't I tell you? And blah, 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 trying to be sassy pants. Marquez didn't like that shit at all. So he's like, wait a minute. I just came here to drop off my daughter. I don't know you. Do you have a question about me? Because I feel like I walked in on something. Hit the like button. Thank you very much. After he walked in and he realized he walked in on something, he should have left. After he walked in and he realized there was somebody there that he didn't see or never met before, he should have left. Because Trisha was at home in the house that she pays the mortgage on with her company, not with Marquez's company. Marquez took over the whole scene after that. Marquez starts saying, well, if you want to know something about me, then you should ask me. Don't ask Trisha. Talk to me. Trisha's like, Marquez, get out. Marquez, get out. He doesn't stop there. Wait a minute, because you're coming at me. Who has a fight with a complete and total stranger in somebody else's house? Who? Especially when you just dropped your daughter off. Your brain is on your child. Oh, Lord. I'm glad that Marquez is not on the show anymore because y'all know what? Y'all got to leave the show to the show. That is why everybody that watches Love and Marriage Huntsville has such strong feelings. I believe that production told him to go in the house. I don't believe that production told him to start a fight with a complete and total stranger and a woman at that. I don't think that production told him to do that. I don't even think he would want to do that. I think that he did it because he can't help himself. I mean, what Marquez did is on par with everything that we've seen him do in the past. That is his personality. I don't think that he turned into someone different because production told him to do that. But yeah, that's what I think. I think that most people, when you walk into a house that you weren't invited into and everything goes silent, you'd be like, oh, I just came to say hello and drop off whatever the baby's name is and drop off such and such. Maybe you and I can talk later. I'm out. You would throw up the deuces and you walk out. If production asked him to stay, then go in and say, hi, Trish, how are you? I hope I'm not interrupting anything. Whatever that has to be, but that's not what happened. Isn't this when Marquez texted Trisha with the threats about it on live interview? I didn't watch an interview with him, so I wouldn't know. I know the text messages happened, but the text messages happened after. Before, Marquez had said a whole lot of dirty stuff about her on his IG and on YouTubers' channels. And I think that's what Trisha was mad at. And, you don't want to do that with your kids, no way. Marquez wants to get paid. Production is suspect. I'm going to tell you something, Lady Lucky. If Marquez wanted to get paid, he would follow the contract and he would not talk about the season before the season. He got fired on his day off. So no. I do believe that he wanted to keep his job, though. I do think that. But no, um, I think that we have to remember we're dealing with late 30s, mid 40s. These people are grown as, not only are they grown, but they all talk to each other. Marquez have talked to so many people about production and this show. He's talked to Heavenly. He's talked to Carlos King. I'm sure he's talked to other people outside of that, because I've heard other people that were on the show say that he talked to me. I called him. He got all the inside scoop that he needs. He was bragging about having the inside scoop before he was given a full-time contract. So no, stop giving these people excuses. That's the problem. Nobody's responsible for being dumb. Sometimes people are just dumb. He walked into that house without knocking. And even if that's what they asked him to do to get a reaction, he still had the obligation of saying, hey, how are you? Sorry, I didn't realize you had company. All of the things. He did not do that. He was real happy to be a part of that season, by the way. Even though he was bragging about, it doesn't matter to me, I just want to be here to protect my kids. No, no, no. You were on Tyler Perry's studios the very next day. Sharon should have stood in her place and not say anything. She wanted a moment. She was invited to Trisha's house. Marquez wasn't. If my friend is in my house, and let's say I have a nice sassy ass friend, that's how Trisha introduced her. I have a sassy friend. What she didn't say is that my sassy ex-husband is going to come in here. She wasn't expecting that uninvited. She did invite her sassy friend, and her sassy friend was being sassy with her, and she said that's just who she is. So she was okay with that. Y'all have to remember that. She was in her house with her friend. Her friend was invited. Guess what else the friend did? Rung the doorbell. And then Trish walked over and opened it and let that sassy ass friend inside. Okay? Even though she wasn't invited, I wouldn't get into an argument with my friend's ex-husband. I don't know. I don't know. If you watch the friend's face, the friend is actually smiling and laughing with Marquez. Marquez was the one who changed the energy. And then the friend was like, wait a minute, like, what is happening here? And that is when the owner of the house kept saying, get out, Marquez. Marquez, just go. And he said, no. So how would you handle it after you were asked to leave by the owner and that person still doesn't do it? The sassy friend is going to get sassier because she's watching what's happening. She also knows the history between them. Yeah. I don't know. I know that we pick and choose how we like people. I'm just going to call it straight across the board. Marquez shouldn't have gone to that woman's house. When he was asked to leave by her, he should have left. Him saying absolutely not. I'm talking to her right now. You don't know Trisha. How long have you known her? Have I ever met you? You've only known her for 4 years. You don't know her. You don't know her. That's not good. That's abusive as I don't know what. Now he's doing all this cuckoo shit. His son comes in the house and his son is like, Dad, go outside. Son starts walking up. He goes, that's my savior right there. Okay, son. Okay, I'll go outside. Son starts walking halfway up the steps. Dad, go outside. All right, Mama, you better be happy my son is here. You better be happy my son is here. What are you doing? Now the son's all the way at the top of the steps, goes into his room, doubles back and says, Dad, go outside, Dad, damn. What else do you need? And then he walks out the door. That's not cool. That's not cool. I don't know. He's not, listen, Do Trish and Marquez have unfinished business? Sure. Absolutely. Both of them get under each other's skin for sure. Okay. The opposite of love is indifference. But those two hate each other enough to where you can tell they want to hurt each other. And just the scene before, it was Ken who warns Marquez, she doesn't trust you. You have to be patient with her. She believes that this is all a setup. And then you walk into her house and then literally do everything he told you not to do. If it was about the kids, like he's been saying, just you got to know when to pull back. The son is more mature and he loves his dad. He loves him. Let me just say this too, because sometimes people think that if you say something bad about somebody, that means blah, blah, blah. His children love him. His son wants him to do good. You can tell that. And it doesn't sound like Trisha's trying to keep the kids from him. She said he can pick them up whenever he wants. Okay. So I don't think that's it. But whatever reason, this unfinished business where he felt he needed to be in her house and go back and forth, that wasn't cool. And maybe he thought, I don't know. I'm not going to say what he thought. I don't know. Marquez's son told his dad several times to leave. He did. Marquez would have gotten busted in the face with a hot skillet disrespecting my house. Yeah, once you're told to leave, especially if someone is telling you that that person doesn't trust you, then just say, I'm sorry and leave. It's okay to say I'm sorry and leave, even if you don't think you're the problem. Not sure why it's not even done now. I think they still married. Don't know. He was forewarned. That was my problem with the scene. My problem with the scene is this man is begging to go on vacations. And when he was told, please be patient, you and I can work this out together. You have to understand this is where she is and we're going to take baby steps with her. Even though he was told that and he was supposed to have this moment, he didn't follow it. The son came after the scene started. He did not come together. Trisha said, how did you get her? Xavier was picking her up. So, correct. It sounds like he said Xavier told him to pick up the baby or the daughter. And then Xavier came in behind. They didn't come in together. I didn't even see the daughter, so I don't know. We didn't see her come in. She could have came in and went up the stairs, or they cut it so that she wasn't in the scene. But either way, all I'm saying is Marquez is the problem. And yes, Trisha, when she is around Marquez, their blood boil with each other and they want to pick each other apart. But one of those people is in therapy right now. So I hope that the other one gets to it. My ex and I would meet at a neutral, safe, well-lit place to exchange kids. There's no way that Marquez should feel comfortable in her house, even if the kids invited him. All I can say is when the door was opening up, it could have been that Trisha thought it was the kids walking in. It could have been that she thought it was, I don't know, Ken walking in. She was having a sister-to-sister conversation about the men in her life. And when she heard the door, she said, wait a minute, because she didn't want them to overhear. Because Ken could have been sensitive about a conversation about him too. The problem is Marquez was sensitive about it, and he shouldn't have been there. They're not together. He did that at the senior graduation too. He did. That's why I said he has to take over spirit. He has an energy about him when he goes into a place where he scans the room. He looks for something that he can stand on, that he can make himself feel bigger. And then he goes for it. He that's it. Clearly, that's what he does. And if y'all remember, because he is a little defensive, he did the same thing at the scene where what was that called? Whatever the event that Melody had, and he says, "I would like to take you out on a date," and Melody said no. Actually, she starts laughing. I'm not even sure if she says no, but she laughed so hard, and he started looking around like, like he felt uncomfortable. He felt, you could tell it made him insecure. And she said, "No dates," or something like that. I forgot how she said it. Something like, "Why don't your people call my people and we could maybe talk about business," or something. He made it seem like it was about business. Yes. After first he just lands it as a date, and then she's like, the hell. Okay. After she doesn't laugh, he was like, "Well, is it going to be about business?" She said, "Have my people call your people," right? And then he just looks so defeated, but he carries that energy, and you can see it in him when he talks to people. He doesn't. Someone says something he doesn't like. We know production set it up. They were filming, however, they came in at a different level than what he thought. He would not act out the way he would. What? Wait a minute. We know production set it up. They was filming. However, he came in on a different level than what they thought he did. Not act the way they thought he would. Okay, I'm just guessing. Are you saying that he walked in on a scene that production wasn't aware of, and then that caused him to act out? Oh, okay. You're saying that this is a scene set up by Todd with the bullshit. Okay. Okay. How do we know that Todd didn't come in and hit us with the bullshit is what I want to know. I'm cracking up. No, production knows every move, child. Oh, you're replying to someone else's comment. Okay, cool. Yes, that was the same exact scene. It was the same scene where when Mark's so was cracking up. He went, "Now you're trying to date Melody?" That shit was funny. I laughed my head off, child. But he didn't like that. He don't like that, and you can tell he doesn't. Okay, not the hand clap. Didn't Aunt Bertha clap the hand? And then she stood up and spun around like she really said some shit. She said, "How do y'all know it's not Todd?" Who's Todd? Okay, so Todd Tucker, Candy Burris's husband. You don't remember the scene where Candy's mom was tired of Todd? She was trying to get them to break up. They were talking about how their friend, what was it, Carmen was having an affair with Todd. Anyway, look it up. They said that Todd set the whole thing up to cause bullshit with the family, basically. But yeah, anyway, that's it. That's all. That's the tea. I really enjoyed the show. I already gave y'all my rating, 7.5, 8. I would say the only scene that I questioned was Destiny and Martell because it just didn't seem sincere. It didn't seem like a genuine conversation. I'm saying that he was probably like, "I'm going to be cool," as soon as he walked in the door. And then he was like, "Psych, I'm about to act out." Oh, okay. You're probably right. You're probably right. That did happen. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We've seen enough of him to know that that's kind of his MO. That's not something that he makes up. Even when he's in good spaces, he has an energy about him that's very much that. You believe that about Todd and Carmen? That's hilarious. Anyway, everybody, hit the like button. Thank you, Clone. I appreciate you. That's pretty much it. That was the first scene. Y'all know the first episodes of the season, they start a little slow. But this one, like I said, it set up all the scenes, so we'll know what's going to happen next. And we'll get to see how it plays out, the rest of the scene with Marquez. I just know that if you're asked to leave at least 11 times, you should leave. He was asked to leave a couple of times. Okay? But that's it, y'all. That's it. That's all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Sunday, child. If y'all are just joining, start from the beginning, listen to the whole thing. Anyway, hit the like button on your way out, please, and thank you. Share the video. Follow me on all my platforms at DYANAROZAY. I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me, and I'll catch you on the next one.